The phrase "you couldn't make it up" is one that you probably hear more often than you should, but when you watch this show you really do have to question, did this really happen?
All I ever wanted was a simple life.
I'm going to fake my death. What could be simpler?
I begged him to turn himself in.
Where have you decided to live when it's all calmed down?
Next bloody door. Genius.
Hey there, Tim from Screen OD here. I hope you are having a great day and thanks so much for tuning in. Hopefully we can make your day even better with a recommendation of something great to watch, because that's what we do. And if you like TV and movies, how about subscribing to the channel? And of course, if you like the videos, why not hit that like button? Now, here is a story that will really have you gripped. It is The Thief, His Wife, and the Canoe. The old based on or inspired by card at the beginning of TV and films is something you will have seen almost since the beginning of those mediums. However, at the moment we are seeing a kind of glut of these. There's a new trend for going and exploring these true stories and dramatising them. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's been producing some really fantastic shows in recent months. We've seen things like We Crashed on Apple TV Plus, which you can watch the full review of there. It's got Jared Leto and Anne Hathaway. And you've had things like The Dropout on Disney Plus and Hulu. The full review of that is up there, and that stars Amanda Seyfried, and she's fantastic in that role playing Elizabeth Holmes. Now in this one, ITV have gone back to the early 2000s to explore what at the time was known as the Canoe Man story. Now this is a story that came to light at the end of 2007 and 2008 and became a huge story on the front page of newspapers and ran for some time as it was such a sensation. Anne Darwin is the narrator of this story, which is about her and her husband John. They are a late middle-aged couple who live in the northeast of England. Now they are in a lot of financial problems, and as we hear through Anne's narration, much of this has come from many of the schemes that John has been involved in. Nothing he does ever seems to work out financially in their favour. They've got into a lot of debt. He is working in the prison service, but he has a lot of things going on as sidelines. They've got to a point where they're in so much debt that it doesn't feel like there is a way out except, as Anne puts it, to go bankrupt. However, John is not prepared to do this, and he has another plan. His plan is to fake his own death and then claim on the insurance money to pay all their debts off and to start a new life. Now, John has an audacious plan, which is this. He will canoe out into the sea, which is one of his hobbies. He'll make sure that he's seen going out on that day, and then he will capsize the canoe. At that point, he will swim to shore and go into hiding and allow the broken canoe to be found by the police. This will make everyone think that he has died at sea, and eventually the insurance money will pay out and they will be able to pay off their debts. And at some point, they will be able to reunite and start a new and better life. Now, Anne doesn't want to go along with these plans. She is worried about her two sons who would have to be lied to as part of this process, to think that their father had died, and she would end up having to be at the very centre of this. She doesn't think that it's going to work. However, when John says that he would rather be dead than be bankrupt, which seems to be the only other option, she does reluctantly get drawn into this scheme. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail about what happens next, because that will spoil it for those who don't know the story, and even those who do know the story won't remember all of the details. But it's fair to say that they do go ahead with the plan, and John goes into hiding for a time, and then he ends up weirdly living next door in hiding for several years to Anne as they continue to wait for the plan to come to full fruition before eventually they end up leaving the country. Now, I don't want to talk much more about what happens, but because this story is known, clearly they don't fully get away with it. But what you do need to know is this is a brilliant piece of television. It's a really gripping drama, and it's been really well done. At the centre of this show are two great performances from two great actors. Eddie Marsan, who plays John with this kind of fantasy, this guy who, whenever there's a problem, he'll find a solution to it, and these solutions get more and more twisted together and they get more and more strange. And then you have Monica Dolan, who's playing Anne, who's being dragged along with all of these kind of fantasies that John has, and she seems to be almost a bystander at times, but she gets pulled further and further into this story and into this mess, which eventually will all come undone. Now, with such compelling source material to inspire the drama, you might think, well, how could this go wrong? Well, I think it is quite possible to have real-life event stories not be as exciting as the real-life events. But with this one, they really have got it right. They've cast it well. It's been really well acted by the leads and some of the supporting cast that work with them. It's got a good script and it's got a great pacing to it that really keeps you interested in the story and all of the different ebbs and flows throughout it. It's one of those sort of shows where you just can't believe what's happening next. Every time something happens, you think, well, surely it can't get any stranger than this, and then it does. It's a really, really compelling show, and I advise you to go and watch it right now on ITV Hub. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, why not hit that like button and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Go check out all the other Screen OD videos if you want something great to watch right now. Until next time, we'll see ya.